In the 1960s, a Stanford professor by the name of Walter Mischel did an experiment that has been legendary in psychologist literature ever since. And it went like this. He did it on 4 and 5-year-olds. He brought them one at a time into a room, set them down at a table, and on the table there was one marshmallow. And he said, okay, I'm gonna give you a deal. You can eat this marshmallow if you want, but if you can wait 15 minutes, I'm gonna go in the other room. If this marshmallow's still here when I get back, you can have 2 marshmallows. Choice is yours. They understood it. He left the room. They kept a camera on in the room to see what the kids would do. It was really funny. They said to watch what happened. Some kids just ate the one marshmallow right away. Others were staring at it and fidgeting and playing in their chair, trying to distract themselves, and eventually ate it. But still others resisted the temptation, waited the entire 15 minutes, which to a 4-year-old seems like forever, and got the 2 marshmallows. But the biggest part of the experiment was still to come because they tracked these kids for decades. And they wanted to see, is there anything about the willpower a 4 or 5-year-old has that leads to willpower later on in life? And the results surprised even the researchers because they found that the kids who at age 5 years old could resist the temptation to settle for one marshmallow were more successful in everything they could possibly measure later on. There was lower drug use among the 2 marshmallow group. There was lower obesity. There were better social skills. In fact, one of the easiest to measure things when they compared in high school the SAT scores of the 2 marshmallow kids to the 1 marshmallow kids, these kids outscored these by 210 points on the SAT. It seemed the secret to everything in life and success in every measurable area was simply this one thing: self-control. Which is both fascinating and discouraging, because it kind of confirms the way a lot of us see life and a lot of our experience, right? That self-control is either something you're born with or it's something you're not. We see people who have self-control with money and self-control with eating healthy or with their phone or with prayer habits or with their temper on the pickleball court, and we think that must be nice. We're going through, I'll put these in my pocket and try not to sit on them later. We're going through the fruit of the Spirit as listed in Galatians chapter 5 of the Bible. And we've spent weeks talking about all of these different traits, but today we come to the last one: self-control. So much of the self-help world focuses on self-control. So you can find influencers and books and podcasts that'll talk about self-control with fitness, or self-control with money, or self-control with addiction, with eating, with time management, any number of things. And really throughout history, leading thinkers have talked about this thing called self-control. I'll show you a few old quotes. Epictetus said, "No man is free who's not master of himself." Plato, "The first and best victory is to conquer self." Leonardo da Vinci, "One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself." Teddy Roosevelt, "With self-discipline, most anything is possible." And my favorite, personally, Navy SEAL Jocko Willink said, "Discipline equals freedom." There is no shortage of a desire for self-control. There is some area in your life where you long for more self-control. Here's the challenge we face with this one particular part of the fruit of the Spirit. This is the one, I think, in the entire list that we've talked about in this series that we want the results of, but we don't actually want the fruit itself. We want the results of self-control, but we don't actually want to practice self-control. The picture I have is going out with some friends after church for ice cream. No one wants to sit there being the one loser not eating ice cream while everybody else is eating ice cream. But we all want to step on the scale the next day and look down and see a number that represents us having not had ice cream. We want to go on a nice vacation. We just don't want to budget to get there. We want to be well rested at night, but we don't want to turn off the TV. We want a good marriage one day, but when we're single, we want to hook up. We want the good grades, but we don't want to study. We want obedient toddlers. We just don't want to get off the couch to discipline them. This fruit is unique in that we want the results of it. We just don't want it in and of itself. The way I say it, I think of it as this: we don't want self-control, but we do want to have had self-control, right? I believe this is where Jesus offers a unique perspective on self-control. Because when it comes to self-control, a lot of us have beat ourselves up over our lack of it. A lot of us have resigned ourselves to just thinking, I just don't have it, at least in that area. But the scriptures say you do. And Jesus offers a unique path for you to have it. Remember what Kyle said from the jump in this series. This is not about self-improvement, it's about spirit empowerment. So if the fruit of the Spirit is just about trying harder, no thanks, I'll tap out. But if there's something different, if there's something deeper that the way of Jesus offers, where by being connected to the vine, I can have self-control in a way the world doesn't offer, I'm interested. So if you've tried self-control and fallen on your face, if you've given your best effort and it's not enough, if you want the results of self-control but don't actually want self-control itself, Scripture is going to teach us something today that will lead to a countercultural way of thinking and living that bears great fruit.